Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It's the only place to be for the pre-match pump up, and what a pump up we have tonight. It is the Woolwich Wanderers, the North London Nomads or South London Nomads, the dirty stinking Gooners, as I like to call them, versus the wonderful Lily Whites. And I'm joined so far, we are expecting other guests, but so far I'm joined by the lovely Jose from El Tel Cockerel. Mr. Jose, how are you feeling? How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm fine. Looking forward, like I always do, Tottenham play. But what I will say is in the chat, nice and early, you can tell that it's the North London derby in the sense that we have got people from all over the world at different times all in here watching this and probably watching, well, staying up, some of them, looking forward to the game as well. I presume that anybody that supports either club, regardless of where you are in the world, this is one that you either get up for or you stay up for, depending on what the time zones are. For us in Europe, it's fine, especially us in England, because we're in sync with an 8 o'clock kickoff. But for some of these people down under, it's going to be anything from 5 in the morning. Sorry, for anything from 4 in the morning till 7 in the morning for them. In North America, it's going to be early afternoon for the guys. And we have got lots of people. I've seen lots of people from down under, lots of North American support already in the chat. So welcome to every single one of you. And yeah, let's support the boys, eh?
Exactly. We've seen so many. Kentucky's just come through. India, Montreal, Korea. So many. And yeah, like you say, it's the one game. Well, it's got to be probably the biggest game of the season. You know, especially when it's at the Emirates. We've won one of our last 31 away games versus Arsenal. So the record isn't good. However, Arsenal aren't exactly flying at the minute. They're without Saka. They're without their WeAreTottenhamTV, I think his name is. So, you know, they're not firing on all cylinders. Jesus, yeah, it's got an ACL. I mean, is that going to be going straight into it, Jose? Now we've started. Is that going to be the telltale difference between the two of us? Arsenal really haven't got anybody up front apart from Kai Havertz, and we all know how he did the other day.
Do you know what? Everything goes. In all honesty, it doesn't matter who's injured and who's not. It's a derby, and in the derby, whatever 11 they put out, whatever 11 we put out, it will be a battle, and it's going to be a battle of wits. So yeah, we're both carrying injuries in that, but it really doesn't matter what lineups you put out. I mean, I'm not going to hide from it. This should be a tough game for us. It always is at the Effeminates. It's always a hard game for us. And I don't see today being any different. It remains to be seen. I mean, we're pumped up and we're all looking forward to it worldwide at the moment, as it is. for the match. But I suppose when the lineups come out in about 10, 15 minutes time, or 10 minutes time, that'll get you charged even more, because you'll know who your 11 that are going out to battle are going to be. You'll find out who the 11 in the opposition are going to be. I think with Arsenal, in all honesty, I don't think they've got to. They're a bit like Tottenham. They haven't got too many options. They've lost 3 or 4 players from their starting 11 or whatever, and then when you look around, they haven't got that many options either. So I presume that they're going to be the same. I think our bench gets a bit stronger in the sense that we might have less kids on it, but I expect to see some kids on Arsenal's bench tonight.
Yes, I agree. And with that, like magic, Mr. Chang has appeared. Good evening to you, Mr. Chang. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? What's happening?
A very, very good Thursday morning to you from Southeast Asia, Miss Kate, Senor Garcia, and to everyone else watching this now, either live or in playback. I am feeling very, very excited and somewhat pensive, really, for this upcoming North London derby. I think the lineups are going to be announced in another 5 minutes or so. And cannot wait for it to be over. Usually, I can't wait for kickoff. This time around, though, I can't wait for it to be over and done with, because this isn't one of those. This isn't the best time. Let's put it this way, to be playing them. But regardless of the occasion that we find ourselves playing them, whether it's a friendly cup tie, whether it's in Europe or even today in the league proper, I am still hoping for the lads to come up with a result, regardless of our current form, because it's the North London derby, and when the North London derby is concerned, the form goes out the window. And cannot wait to get this game underway. Let's all hope that regardless of the result, the fan base still backs Big Ange to finish the season on a high, because we have so much to look forward to before the end of the season is over. And cannot wait to get my 7th consecutive appearance on a pre-match pump up here on We Are Tottenham TV underway, Miss Kate.
Can I just say, hola to Lisa in Mexico, and hola to Jose in Bogota, Colombia, who are in the chat as well. So we've got South America, North America, we have India, we have Down Under, we have everybody. As I said, this game is going to be watched by everybody. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, it's going to be watched by everybody. This is one that you'll stay up for, that you'll get up for, you know. And Rodrigo in Chile, buenas tardes, and Rodrigo también. And can I say, Chang, did you say it's Thursday morning for you?
Yes, I did.
Hopefully we won the game then, didn't we?
Yeah, what was the result? Tell us
what
quick.
Was the score? Tell us. Sorry, I had to throw that one in, Kate. Always do.
I honestly, I'm sure we will get into the predictions in a while later, before the end of the show. But I am somewhat optimistic we would avoid defeat today, even if it means getting a very scrappy draw. I honestly feel that given our current run of form since our clean sheet win over Liverpool and the debut of Antonin Kinski, which I am hoping for big things from him today of all days in the North London derby. I really do hope that he can get a third unprecedented clean sheet for a debutant goalkeeper, however unlikely and however improbable it may be. Fingers crossed, this is the the one big signing of the season that will help us end the season on a high. And I am still expecting us to avoid letting them do the double over us this season. But we'll wait and see. The lineup is going to be announced in another 60 seconds or so from now. And let's just wait and see what the lineup says before I take a look at the crystal ball.
Also,
exactly.
hello to people from South Africa. We've got Nairobi, Kenya in here. We have
Yeah.
Palau in here as well. We also have someone else just came in just now. Syracuse in New York. Welcome everybody. Absolutely,
Indeed you
all the
do.
Tottenham supporters worldwide, wherever you are, South Africa, wherever you are, welcome everyone.
And please smash a like on the video for Ben and Sim. It really helps the channel. And a massive thank you to Samuel Lynch 3381, who's been a member for 2 months. Jimbo is puppy sitting, so he is not here today, but we're channeling his positive energy. Don't worry about that. But big up Chris Peters from deep down south Essex. Big up Chris. And we've got sunny Scotland, we've got India, we've got Sweden, we've got everywhere. Amazing. Before we actually go into the game, there's been a lot of talk on social media today, similar to what you said, Jose. It's the one game everybody sort of gets up for this game. And a lot of people are saying the North London derby should never, ever, ever be played midweek. It should always be a weekend game. What are your thoughts?
Being of a age, I'm a lot older than the rest of the panel, and I only ever remember there being Saturday football. The only time that you got a midweek game was either you were playing in Europe or it was a replay of the FA Cup, and maybe the League Cup. You played but all league games tended to take place on Saturday. But we know corporate greed throughout the world. Corporate greed. I was saying to someone the other day, if there's a free slot in the calendar, one of the people, either the FIFA, UEFA, the Premiership, somebody will pick a game to fit in that week. I mean, it's funny because we got a rest after the Newcastle game. I think it was, where it was 6 days, where we ended up with the bug in the camp. But that was the first week that we've had off since the beginning of October, and it's the only week that we'll get off between October and the end of January. So yeah, for me, it always used to be a Saturday. It always used to be a Saturday game, never midweek. And now, yeah, it is what it is. I think it must be hell for police, because policing it on a Saturday is hellish enough, but policing it on a winter's night in the dark and that was going to be hellish for them. So
yeah, I agree. As you can see, the lineup is out. One slight difference that I expected, but we'll go through that in a minute. We've got Kinski back in goal. Come on, Kinski. Then we've got Porro, Dragusin, Gray, and Spence, Saar, Basuma, Bergval, and then Kulu, Solanke, Son, with the subs being Austin, Reglion, Hardy, Aluesi, Madison, Moore, Johnson, Lankshire, and Ritchie, which is good to see Ritchie finally back. Chang, what's your first thoughts? I personally thought Saar would be replaced by Madison this game. I had a feeling Madders would start with Saar on the bench, but it's the other way round. What's your thoughts?
This is a very strong lineup, one capable of getting a result at the MT rates. But the one player which I felt more than deserved a start today, despite him not even being anywhere near that starting 11 or even the bench for the first half of the season, Sergio Reguilon. I would have deployed Jet Spence at his preferred right back position ahead of Porro, and I would have started Reguilon on the left instead of Spence there on the left. That is the only change that I would make for this game, but maybe Big Ange himself knows better. Although having Porro at right back means that I think we are going to go for it. We aren't going to sit back and soak up the pressure and try to hit them on the counter. And I think this is then reinforced by the fact that we have Bissouma and Saar as our centre midfield pairing, which then leaves Bergval all the freedom that he has to dictate play further upfield. And yeah, let's just hope that Kulusevski and Son will be able to produce the assists and also the chances on the plate for Solanke to get a goal or two for us today.
Yeah, Jose, what about you? Were you expecting Maddis to start, or are you pleased that Sar's starting? What's your thoughts?
I thought that this team weren't going to be far. The team he's picked, I think, wasn't going to be far from the starting team, and I think he's done it to put legs into the midfield. So that's why he's got Sarr in there and Bergvall to put legs in there. Now,
Yeah.
for me, Bergvall's young. He's only just broken into the team. It's taken him 6 months or so to get to where he is now. But the person that needs a really big game for me is Pape Sarr. I think Pape Sarr has been playing recently, in and out, has been insignificant. You haven't shouted, something that he's done right, wrong, or anything. He's just been on the periphery of games, and he's there because of his engine. And I'm hoping that he picks up. What I'd like to see is like to see Sarr more involved, and play as an out and out number 8, where he's both in attack and defense, but actually get involved. So you can actually look back at the game and say, yeah, well, Sarr played, because the last few games I've seen Sarr, I've actually forgotten who's in the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, Sarr and Sarr and Bergvall are there for the legs. To run around, the engine's going to be Basuma. Basuma has to do all the mopping up tonight. The one thing I will say is about the lineup. It's quite a tall lineup, in all honesty. You've got Dragusin, Gray, Spence, Sarr, Biss, Bergvall, Solanke, and even Kulu's 6 foot. It's quite a tall lineup. Apart from Sonny and Pedro Porro, it's quite a tall lineup. And with the bombs that they throw in from corners, we probably needed some height there as well. So Sarr and Bergvall may have been selected because of that as well. Because Maddison ain't exactly the tallest, is he?
No.
But then off the bench, Richarlison's back on the bench as well now. So I'm not going to say he's not match fit. We know that already. He's not match fit. But it gives us another option off the bench. Now that Werner's injured and out, it gives us another option. So for me, it's a strong lineup. I just need the boys to go out there and put in. We're not at home or away, but put in the effort. And for the traveling fans that are going to the effeminates, they need to put a show on for them. They need to put a show on for them. And big up to all the support. Ben and Simmer there as well. Big up to all the support that are actually supporting Tottenham at the ground itself.
Yeah, massively. This is the Arsenal lineup. They've got Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel. Then Lewis, Skelly, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Sterling, Trossard, and Havertz. And on their bench, they've got Neto, Zinchenko, Tierney, Kiwior, Jorginho, Marino, Martinelli, Kabaya, and Butler, Oedeji. So Calafiori didn't make it. There was talk that he got a knock. But they've gone with an exceptionally strong lineup as well, as strong as they can be, as you would expect. Someone mentioned it in the chat. Kinski, our fantastic new keeper. If he's the first Tottenham keeper in 100 years to keep a clean sheet on his first 2 games. If he does it today, please God it happens, and he does manage to keep a clean sheet, that will be the first time ever in the history of Spurs for that to happen. Chang, do you think Vicario is sitting there thinking, wow, I've actually got some serious competition now with this guy, or is it too early to say?
I honestly hope that is the case, because not to say that he's not been pulling his weight or that he's been, putting in a shift for us. This is the sort of competition that we have been craving for so long. Proper competition, proper backup, and even, bench players that can not only come on and improve the team, but you do not feel an apparent drop-off in the quality and also the levels of performance when your so-called backup comes on the pitch and takes your place. So this is only good for the long term in terms of giving our squad players healthy competition, something to actually keep them on their toes and instill that sort of competitiveness amongst the squad players. And yeah, I mean, this all depends really right now on Vicario himself and his willingness, or rather his desire to win back his place, because the way Kinski is playing, I think it would be a great injustice as well to be dropping him the way he's been keeping clean sheets for us. And let's just wait and see how he performs in his first ever North London derby. That's not to say that no one is untouchable in our squad, but just only the previous weekend, if you remember the game, I think it was against Newcastle United, that home loss, where none of our leadership players were in the starting 11. That includes Romero, Son, and Madison. I think that was the first time ever since Big Ange took over that none of the leadership group were in the starting 11, or even at kickoff. So that gives me hope. That really gives me hope that Big Ange himself is learning, and he's showing, he's proving to all the players that no one is untouchable. In this case, that includes Vicario. And yeah, I can only hope that this then gives Vicario that much needed kick up the backside for him to improve on not only his distribution, but also his set pieces as well, Miss Kate.
Yeah. I agree, Cheng. I mean, Jose, the bench, like I'll just repeat it again. We've got Austin, Reguilon, Hardy, Aloisi. Then we've got Madders, Moore, Johnson, Lancashire, Richarlison. There are some players on there, which is nice to see, that can come on and change the game. For instance, if Sarr is performing like he has done recently and not been putting up any trees, I'd like to sort of see Ange make a change quickly and get someone like Madders on for that bit of creativity. I mean, it's about time, don't you think, that we've had players on the bench that can come on and do that?
Yeah, I mean, we have had a very young, of recent months and weeks, we've had a very, very young bench, where maybe you could say two, maybe say three players. Three players are, for want for a better word, part of the first team squad, and you expect them, if they're not in the starting lineup, they'd be on the bench. Today, attacking wise, we have a hell of a lot on the bench, attacking wise. Defensively, if we have problems defensively, though, we're quite light, isn't we? Because you've got Reguilon, Hardy, and that's it, isn't it? I don't recall another defender.
Reguilon, Hardy,
and that's it.
Yeah, that is it.
Okay, so we're top heavy in attack because Aloisi's a midfielder, so we're top heavy in attack on the bench, but not much defensively. So, but it's good because we're starting. Well, Richie's there today. Mikey Moore's on the bench as well. So they two players are coming back from injury. So it's good. Our numbers are starting to swell. But what we need tonight is not only do we want a performance from the boys, and we all, as Tottenham supporters, we all want a performance from the boys. But what we don't want as well is injuries. We don't want any injuries. From now on in, I mean, it's inevitable you'll get one or two hit along the line, but we just don't want none. We don't. We need it to. We need the cards to be in our favour for once, and not have any more injuries. And what you were talking about just a minute ago with regards to Kinski, it's amazing, Kate, Chang, Kinski. How many people are going to turn around and tell me they heard of Kinski before we bought him? How many people? Now, we bought Kinski, we've seen him for 2 games, and in the 2 games that we've seen him play, regardless of the opposition, in the 2 games that we've seen him play, he's come out from corners and caught balls. He's come out, not even within the ruck of players, he seems to go through them or around them, comes out, catches the ball. Someone that commands his box that well gives confidence to not only your defenders, but the rest of the team. You get confidence from this, from your goalkeeper doing that. Now, gone are the days where we should bring someone into bench warm. What we need to do is we need to bring in players that provide competition. And I believe that Kinski will provide competition for Vicario. From the little we've seen of Kinski in 2 games, and I don't want to knock Vicario, but he seems to be a bit more alert in the box and a bit stronger coming out for the ball and catching the ball than what our great Vic has been. Distribution with his feet, he seems to be a bit stronger there as well. Shot stopping remains to be seen because Vicario is an absolute beast at shot stopping. But where we've got the luxury now, Vicario and Kinski competing against each other, we need more of that throughout the rest of the pitch. We do need competition throughout the rest of the pitch. So if someone's playing badly, then they get rested and somebody else comes in. We've not been able to do that with the injuries we've got. I'm hoping that players start coming back and then we will be able to do this. Because the players that stepped in long run, so your Greys, your Dragosins, your Spencers, your Birdvales, these players have done really, really well. And for me, they're not fringe players, they are first team players. Their performances show they're first team players. Now we've got players still to come back that will add to this first team, and we should have competition for places.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Obviously Turbo Timo went off the other day injured with a hamstring. Chang, we said it about Richie. A lot of people said they didn't expect him to play for us ever again. Do you think there's a possibility, if we all pray hard enough, that Timo Werner may never play for Spurs again and that he might actually be on his way this window?
I mean, honestly, I don't want to ever put down any of our players. Just as
But
long as they are on our books. But I did make it very clear and very, very apparent on, was it Saturday? I think it was a Saturday, or was it a Sunday when we did this pre-match pump up here on We Are Tottenham TV for the Tamworth game, that the Tamworth Cup tie was pretty much last chance saloon for him. And if you think of how him alone, the wages that he is on alone per week is more than the entire Tamworth team combined. Maybe even their staff and the groundskeep, for that matter, if you just lumped it all together, for him to have performed the way he did when he knows that that was his best chance to actually try and reignite whatever fledgling and diminishing chance he has of a career with us. That was it. That really was it. And I would not wish him to, I mean, I will never wish for any of our players to never play for us again. But the less we see of him, the better mistake. That is all I will say about Timo Werner. Hopefully, we can get someone in to replace him before the end of the transfer window. A lot of us were thinking that Kolo Muani was that answer. But I mean, now that Kolo Muani has all but confirmed to be on his way to Juventus, let's just wait and see what Johan Langer and Scottman will be able to pull out the hat for us.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, Dennis, Nick and I are good friends. He's only joking when he said that. Is because I have my own troll. He normally calls me a lesbian, so Nick thought he'd get in there nice and early. Jose, with Richie being back, obviously I'm not Richie's biggest fan. Anyone who watches my channel will know I'm not Richie's biggest fan. However, I do appreciate that he does bring something a little bit different sometimes, and I like the shithousery that he brings. And I apologise for swearing if anyone's kids are watching, but that's the only, I can't think of another way of putting it. It's the only way I can think of putting it. So, Jose, do you think we need a bit of Richie's naughtiness tonight?
So just going back a step on Timo Werner. With Timo Werner, it's going to be very difficult, people, because if he's, I don't know if they've confirmed the timelines, but if he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, then I don't know what's in the deal, and what the minor print says. But usually, if someone's going to be out for a while, you can send them back to their parent club. I'm not sure whether we can send him back to his parent club or not, because if he's going to be out for that long and then you've got your recovery to come thereof, you're going to miss practically more or less most of the season. If there's a clause there for injury, then do we have the ability to send him back to his parent club? I'm not sure. It's Cantab. It's not a break clause in the sense of a break clause for the season, but because he's injured, why should we pick up his injury and that he should go back to his club? I'm not sure that that's there. With Richarlison coming back, Tottenham have said, and Ange said this on many an occasion, that what they're doing with that Richie is that he keeps breaking down every time he comes back. So what they've said is that he was fully fit, in the sense he was fully rehabilitated a few weeks ago. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to make sure that he got a full 2 weeks on the training pitch to make sure that he was strong enough to return back, in the hope that when he does come back, he doesn't break down. Because let's be fair, since Richie's come to us from Everton, he has not had a sustained run in the side. The most sustained run in the side we got from him was last year, which I can't remember, was 8, 10, 12 games, where he did score some goals, notably the 2 world-class goals against Everton that he scored in the 2-2 draw. But having Richie come off means that you have a natural rotational player. And when I say natural, you've got a natural 9 rotation for Solanke. But then you also have a rotation for Son as well. Although saying that, we've got Mikey Moore there now as well, who can play out that side as well. But it just means that we've got a lot more to come off the bench to help us out. So instead of putting square pegs into round holes off the bench, we've got people that can come and play in the positions we need. Like I said, attacking wise, we seem to have a dearth of people at the moment on the bench tonight. And just defensively, I hope nothing happens to any of our defenders. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I completely agree. Look, it's over 14 years since Arsenal lost to Spurs at home, which is really, really not good enough. They're a little bit of a wounded animal at the minute, Arsenal. You know, they've potentially gone out of both cups in the space of 5 days. They've got a 2-0 deficit to overturn when they go back to St James's Park. If they beat us tonight, it's the first time since 1989 that they've beat us 3 times in a row. We go in as massive underdogs. I mean, Arsenal are 4-11 and we're 6-1. So we are massive underdogs for this game. Do you think, Chang, there's pressure? Obviously, there is pressure on both, but who do you think's got the most pressure coming into this? Because Arsenal fans are already questioning Arteta since the FA Cup they got knocked out. But who's under most pressure with this game?
Before you answer, Chan, can I just say, before you answer it, football was never played on paper. So forget the odds. Forget the odds. Football has never, ever been played on paper. Sorry, Chang. There you go.
No problem, Jose. Yeah, I think to answer Miss Kate's question, I think the pressure is firmly on Arteta, more so than Big Ange, because Arteta really has to get something done for Woolwich, however many years he's been in charge now, and however much they have spent on the players that he has been requesting for. And as you quite rightly mentioned earlier, Miss Kate, back-to-back losses to Newcastle and to United in both the FA Cup and the League Cup proper has left their seasons in tatters. And anything less than a win for them would pretty much seal their fate of not being able to clinch the title this season. Although I will not completely rule them out from contention until the end of the season, or at least until March. But it would really rub salt in their wounds if you had seen the results from yesterday. Liverpool, Chelsea, and City all dropping points on the same day simultaneously would mean that any one of the chasing pack, whether you are Woolwich or Forest or anyone else who fancies themselves to finish within the top 3, today they have to make it count. And if Arteta can't get that done today, then yes, the pressure is fully on him. But I mean, this is just one game, Miss Kate, as I keep saying over and over again with all the other games, whether it's the European games, the league games, or even the domestic cup games. This is just one league game, but I think of all the games, this is that one league game that can either propel your season forward or it can completely undo all the good work from the first half of the season. And yes, I really, really am hoping for us to be the ones to get this North London derby as our very own springboard going into the next week's commencement, or rather the resume Europa League fixtures. And I also hope that we can propel ourselves up in the table, because it's been a long time, put it this way, since I've seen us this low in the table, despite us having one game in hand. So fingers crossed, really, that Arteta is going to be the one who's going to be on the losing end later on today. And I cannot wait for kickoff to properly get underway, Miss Kate.
Not long to wait now, not long to wait at all. Jose, what do you think regarding the pressure? Who do you, I mean, they aren't both, let's be fair. There's a lot of Ange outers out there. There's a lot of Ange doubters out there. But the Arteta out brigade has started to get a little bit louder. Who's got the most pressure coming into this game, in your opinion?
I think that there's pressure for both sides, but for different circumstances. I think for us, the pressure for us is that we have been substandard. Results wise in the Premiership, we've been substandard. So therefore, with us being substandard in the league and not picking up the points that we should have picked up, we now languish in 13th place, 12th or 13th. And so therefore the pressure is on us for us to climb up that table. The Arteta pressure, the Arteta noise that I hear from people and from Arsenal people is that with Arteta, they're saying that he can't get them over the line. He's ended up buying, so he's ended up spending an X amount of money. They've come close twice. A lot of the Arsenal fan base was saying this year has got, before the ball was kicked at the start of the season, a lot of the fan base at Arsenal was saying this is the year that it's got to be done. Now, I will say this because I've got friends that support Arsenal as well. And like everyone else, I've got friends that support Arsenal. And I've got friends that support Arsenal that go home. And I've got friends that support Arsenal that refuse to go to the Emirates because they said it's become corporate now and they'll only go to away games. And what I will say is the fan bases for both clubs are similar in the sense
Very
that,
much so.
in the sense that you've got for different reasons. The only synergy I can give you is for different reasons, as I'm explaining. One is because we need to make points up in the league at the moment, and for them, it's because they're not getting over the line. But the abuse, the hatred, the negativity, the doubters, whatever you want to call people, seem to come in social media for both clubs. It's not just Tottenham, it's Arsenal as well. The negativity all surrounds itself in social media. So whether it be X, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Instagram, whether it be YouTube channels, it seems to be there, right? And Arsenal, it's the same with Arsenal as well. Now, when I speak to the Arsenal supporters who are not on social media at all, they're happy with what Arteta is doing, and at the ground, the majority are Arteta in. They're not outers for Arteta.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Tottenham, Kate. You've gone to Tottenham as well this season, like I have. I went to the Everton game and I spoke to people in the seat that I was around. I spoke to people that weren't on social media and asked them what their thoughts were about the team, you know, and Ange and everything. And the positivity is in the stadium. The negativity is on social media. And that's what I'm going to say for both sides. But when you're asking me the question, yes, it's true. Ange is under pressure because we need to get more points in the league. But Arteta is under pressure because they feel that he should do more with what he's got in the terms of getting to win trophies, win title or whatever. But I don't know because I don't support Arsenal. The only thing that I've got to say is that some things are glaringly obvious to us all that are viewing or that view with our own eyes. And to me, the glaring thing for Arsenal is they ain't got a striker. And they haven't had a striker for 2 or 3 years. And that's glaringly obvious to me watching with my own eyes. I mean, if I watch Tottenham, there's some glaringly obvious things for me at Tottenham as well. But, you know, for Arsenal, it's the quite clear fact that they haven't got a striker. And, I mean, I don't know the situation financially for Arsenal, but I would have thought that even in this transfer window now, they'd be all over trying to get in a striker. But again, at the end of the day, yeah, they're both under pressure, but I'm talking objectively and I'm being fair to both sides. But now putting my Tottenham hat back on, I really couldn't give a apple crumble what they do. I just want us to go and play, and I just want us to go out and get the win tonight. And so all my eggs are in the basket of Tottenham Hotspur. And for my Arsenal friends and that, jog on. Simple, jog on.
Do you know what? It's like when they asked Ange Postecoglou if he feels sorry for Arsenal because of their injuries. And he went, well, do you think they feel sorry for me? You know, no one wants players to be injured, but what a ridiculous question that was to ask. But we've got a couple of super chats here. We have got one from Samuel Lynch, who says, hello from Greensboro, North Carolina, USA. Big up to you over there in America, but it's warmer there than it is here. And we've also got Thomas Owen saying Arsenal's XG last 2 games is 8.23. Are we worried? No, I'm not worried. XG's a load of rubbish. There was no such thing when I was younger. I don't listen to any of that malarkey. I don't know about you, Chang. Do you take that sort of stuff on board? I completely switch off.
I mean, there is a reason why XG has been looked at as the sort of an informed guide as the match wears on for pundits and maybe even the media to have something to talk about, whether or not a team deserves to win, whether they are right to lose, or whether the game has been very topsy-turvy or maybe even dull. But back to that stat you put up earlier, that XG of 8 point something and above for Woolwich. Yes, they have an XG of 8.3. What it was it in 2 matches?
8.23.
And how many goals did they score from the 8.23 XG?
0.12735.
Thank you for that answer, Jose. But 8.23 XG, but only the 1 goal against 10-man United to show for. Nothing against Newcastle at home. Nothing at all in that in the extra time. The extra time against United, they can't even find a way past 10-man United. So that tells me that if you cannot convert your chances, if you can't take advantage of the opportunities presented to you, you are going to fall short. I firmly believe that for us as well, not just to our opposition, but for us as well. If let's say Solanke or Son or even Kulusevski, they aren't able to finish their chances, then we would be struggling in this North London derby, although I really do hope that's not the case. But XG can only do so much for you if you have or rather if you take up the opportunities and the chances before you. So having said that, this XG can be misleading in a sense that it can give you a very false hope, or even a very jaded uncertainty going into the closing stages. But let us all hope that our XG today is exceptional, and that we will be able to put away our own chances more so than them. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Well, I've got some statistics here because we've got over 1,014 people in, and we've got an expected like of 8.21. So we've only got 216 likes. So we want better XL, XG, XXL than anyone else. So smash a like if you can, please. We're coming to the last 12 minutes of the show where we find out score predictions. I'm just going to have a look through some of these messages, though. I'm expecting goals from Spurs where the scorer tells the Arsenal when to shh. Yes, indeed. Dermot says, but XG tells another story. It tells you where the game is played. We can't score in our box. I don't really listen to that sort of thing. Can't predict anymore what's happening with Angie's sides. No, I think that's a fair comment. It is very up and down. Only Tottenham could beat Liverpool 1-0 and then struggle against Hamworth and take it to extra time. I mean, there's not many teams that can do that. We have got Yido saying Son, Solanke and Sarr will score and it will be Tottenham 3-1. That's exactly the same scoreline as Jimbo predicted. The watch along is being done by Amir and Nicholas tonight, aka Barry Royale, whatever his name is. 2-2 with some dodgy decisions. I mean, Jose, a lot of people are predicting a draw. Most pundits are predicting an Arsenal win. A few are predicting a draw. Will you take a draw?
In all honesty, I'm going to say no, I wouldn't. But I'm talking before the game. Probably after the game, I might turn around after it all pans out. I might say, shit, take that draw. But for no, it's quite interesting that 3 weeks ago, I think all the pundits would have had this as a write-off for Tottenham. But listening to people on the radio today, and it's been different radio stations that I've listened to, there's quite a clamour of a lot of pundits saying that, or the majority was saying Tottenham won't lose tonight. They're not saying they'll win, but they're not saying they'll lose. So lose, you can only allude to either it being a draw or it being a win for Tottenham. But for me, I think I spoke to somebody else about this early this morning, and I was saying, if we look at the league games over Christmas, just after Christmas and the New Year, the last couple of weeks, we look at the games in the league. The teams that are playing in Europe, all the teams that are playing in Europe are all struggling. So the people that are playing loads and loads of games are all struggling. Liverpool, all of a sudden, they've only beaten Altrincham 4-0. Other than that, they've not been getting results. Arsenal haven't been getting results. Man United have been getting draws, but they're lower than us currently at the moment. You've got us. You've got Villa that are up and down. You've got Chelsea that have started losing games, and they only got a draw yesterday. So, at the end of the day, I think the season's catching up on absolutely everyone. It's not only Tottenham that have been overplaying their players. It's a majority of sides have been overplaying their players. Tonight, if I'm going to talk about tonight's game, I'm hoping, or I can see Tottenham being tighter than what they usually are. A bit like we played against Liverpool when we were at home to Liverpool in the cup, where we play tighter, don't leave holes at the back behind our fullbacks. We play a tighter game and let them have the possession and we hit them on the counter is what I'm expecting tonight. And for a score for tonight, I've gone for 1-0 to Tottenham.
Oh, see, I think that's actually a really good score because it could be just like a snatch and grab and run. And, I think it's going to be a tight game. I hope it's not 1-0. I hope it's... Well, actually, do you know what? I don't care if it's 1-0 or 10-0 or 10-9.
I want 3 points, Kate. Yeah, I want 3 points.
That's exactly right.
All I want is 3 points. And above all, I don't want injuries because we've had that. We've had a season. We've had our fair share of injuries already. I would like to see 3 points so we finally get that W against us in the league table. We get a win, and I want no injuries. I just don't want no injuries at all.
People can criticise Andrew, and I hear it, and I get a lot about people sort of questioning Andrew's tactics, but he has been incredibly unlucky with the injuries, in my opinion. And if we can come out of this unscathed, then that will be a miracle and something we desperately need. Let me go through some of these score predictions before we go to Mr. Chang. We got 2-1 Spurs from Mud FC. Johnson comes on to run at tired legs. Richie draws a red and Arsenal go down to 10 men late. I love that. 3-2 Spurs, good to me. Happy with the midfield that's starting. Nice to have Madders from the bench, says the view from nowhere. Daniel Howson says 2-0 Spurs win prediction from the Guido in Peru. Big up to you. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, that was the bench. Thank you, Tottenham for Life. Always does the bench for me. Very, very kind. 2-0 Johnson and Solanke. Cole Vineyard says 3-2 Spurs, 3-1 Arsenal. Boo. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Sorry to anyone that's an Arsenal fan, but no. Coming Spurs from Australia, 4:30 a.m. Let's go. Wow. 4-1 victory for Spurs from Florida. Loving the dedication of these fans. Unbelievable. 6-0. Come on, you Spurs. 3-1 incoming. Come on, you Spurs. Mr. Chang, I'm loving these positive scores. Not so much the Arsenal scores, but the Tottenham scores. How are you sitting on this match? Are you feeling confident?
I was feeling confident before I went to bed, and I woke up feeling confident, seeing that this is the one. If there was one game this whole season you want us to win, regardless of the opposition, regardless of the time of the season, this is the one game away from home in the North London derby we would want us to win, especially given the rather dismal and disappointing way we just gave them the victory earlier this season at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So let's hope we make up for it. Anything is possible, Miss Kate. If you were to look at last season, I would not have predicted that we will be able to snatch a 2-all draw, having been packed back twice in that tie. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be able to get a result today. I still am sticking to my 2-1 prediction as much as I want Antonin Kinski to get his third consecutive clean sheet. I think just getting a draw would be a result for us, but anything more than that, anything more than a draw is going to be a massive bonus, and more so than a win. I want Kinski to keep a clean sheet if that is within the realms of possibility. Fingers crossed, that is going to be the case in 90 minutes time. But yeah, I will stick to my 2-1 prediction, and our SOS duo of Son and Solanke. Those are my 2 goal scorers, and I need to impress upon everyone who's listening in onto this, regardless if it's live now or in playback. Whatever the outcome, we still have a lot to play for before the end of the season. So a loss isn't the end of the season, neither is it the end of the world. We still have another second leg of the semi-finals to look forward to against Liverpool, as well as the fourth round of the FA Cup and the Europa League. So come what may, please keep your faith in the players and Big Ange, and let's just see where this North London leads us to at the end of the season.
Exactly that, Mr. Chang. Nick says 85-2 to the true North Londoners. Big up, Lazy 8. 2-2 written all over it, says Side Dancer. 3-2 Spurs, says Ange Ball. Give me a birthday present. Happy birthday to you, Akil, and also to Bobby K's little K, aka Krish. A big happy birthday to you as well, my darling. And also to his cat, Teddy Shering Cat. So there's birthdays everywhere. Ryan Wood says 3-1 Arsenal. The games at Emirates. Spurs have won in the league. Spurs have won once they're in the league in the last 24 appearances. Records are made to be broken. That's what we say. Hart says 3-1 Arsenal, head 2-2. Come off the hour, Sonny leads us to a 3-1 win. Sonny, Solanke and Kulu. 1-0 Solanke to body Saliba. I love it. Clayton says 3-2 Spurs with Solanke, Kulu and Radu header. I have actually gone for what actually is proven to be quite a popular scoreline, and I've gone for 3-2 Spurs as well. I've just got a feeling there's going to be quite a few goals, and I'm going to do my goal scorers to be Solanke to get 1, Kulu to get 1, and Porro to score an absolute worldie. I think it's going to be 2-2 till quite late, and then we're going to nick it at the end. Please, please, please let that happen. But as always, I love it when you all send in your score predictions. They're brilliant. And I'm sure, hopefully, the positive ones are right. 2-1 Spurs for me too. Ted Lasso says 2-1 Spurs win. I mean, let's be fair, none of us care as long as we win. 4-1 win. Come on, you Spurs. 3-1 to the boys. 3-0 to the boys. Look, people can call us happy clappers. I call it being a fan and supporting your team. I don't care that we haven't won there since whatever I said it was 14 years ago, and I don't care that we've had whatever stats. I don't care about any of them. I'm just going with my feelings. So I'm feeling confident, and I think Spurs have got it in them to beat them. And I think Kinski's going to have an absolutely brilliant game. But we will see. Don't forget the watch along starts in about 15 minutes with Nick and Amir. That will be fun. Nick's got man flu, so make sure you give him loads of stick. You know, man flu. We all know how deadly that is. Mr. Chang, any final words before we get out of here?
Well, seeing as Mr. Boxer isn't here, I think the duty falls upon me to do the outro in his stead. And I simply cannot thank both Simeon and Ben Daniel enough for allowing me this privilege and honor to be doing my 7th consecutive pre-match pump up here on We Are Tottenham TV. Today, of all days, I just want us to go out there and put in a performance and get a result. I know the last 20 odd games in the league haven't been entirely great for us. We kicked off this 2025 calendar year on a whimper to Newcastle at home. But great things are on the horizon, people. Keep your faith, keep the belief in Big Ange and the players. I know that we have a lot to look forward to, but just temper your expectations. And this is just one game, whatever the result. If we do win, which I hope is the case, it just is one game. We still have a long way more to go in to the end of the season. But yeah, without further ado, come on, you Spurs, and up the Spurs.
I love it. I was going to say I love it, Ange. Then I don't know. I've got Ange vibes all of a sudden. Jose, anything you want to say before we leave these lovely people to watch the game?
Yeah, sorry. I've supported this team for over 50 years, and I've never wavered through thick and thin. Never wavered at all. And for me, I'm just going to say, enjoy yourselves, everyone. Get in the seat, buckle up, enjoy the ride. Come on, you Spurs, and in the Big Ange, I trust.
Exactly. Please make sure you all subscribe to everyone on the panel. I'm at The Perfect Match. Jose is over at Eltel Cockerel, and Chag is at Spurs Diehards. Listen, let them call us happy clappers. Let us call us stupid. Let them call us whatever we want. We believe in Big Ange, we trust, and we know that us proper North Londoners can smash up those dirty gooners. So enjoy the game. Enjoy the watch along. Thank you for watching. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.